The learning objectives for this video are to understand invoicing and invoices menus and functionality, know how to select invoice criteria, know how to check the highlighted warning errors, know how to fix issues, know how to create and check the pre-process report, or know how to batch process all or selected invoices. In the invoices menu, we will know how to filter invoices, know how to action invoices such as mark all printed, mark selected printed, etc. Know how to export invoices, both the account and transaction files, and know how to create an individual manual invoice. Invoice functionality is accessed from the Residence menu. There are then two links, one to invoicing and one to invoices. On the invoicing link, you can choose the process date, the mode, and the billable extras cutoff. By clicking on each warning triangle, you can view system-generated fee contract warnings which flag up potential fee contract discrepancies. You can investigate these and fix if necessary. You can also create a pre-process report where you can check the text and values to be shown in your invoice. Once you are happy with this, you can then use either the batch process all invoice or the batch process selected invoice button to select invoices ready for printing, import or action. Once processed, they will be viewable within the invoices menu. Here you can use the filter to decide which invoices you wanted to view. Once you've made your selection, you can then use the action button to either print invoices, mark as printed, mark as imported. Also, you can export your selected invoices to a CSV file ready to import into Sage. We are now going to look at processing a batch of invoices from start to finish using both of these menus. We are now going to run invoicing for Bury House. To do this, click on Residence and select Invoicing. We're going to choose the processing date of the 5th of the 12th. We're going to leave the mode as contracts and billable extras, but you could run these separately if you wished by clicking on the different links. The billable extra cut-off date we are going to use as the 6th of the 12th. Here we'll show all of the invoices ready to run. You will see that we have two warning messages. By clicking on the first one, it says that there are no fee contracts found. These will need to be added before we continue any further. The second one says that the weekly fee does not equal the fee contract contributions. What we would need to do for that is investigate it further and see if there's either a fee contract missing or if it has been set up incorrectly. This will not be covered in this video, but if you want to know how to set up fee contracts, please look at the fee contract video. By going into the resident records, I then corrected the errors. One resident didn't have any contracts at all, one had one missing. Once I return to invoicing, you will now see that the errors have disappeared. We must now click on the pre-process report. The information shown here is what would appear on the invoice. What you must do is first of all check you are happy with the text and also that you are happy with the totals for each invoice. If you need to change the text, you do this within the system configuration settings, and this is explained further in the system configuration video. If any figures are wrong, you will need to investigate the reason why, amend the fee contracts, and then rerun the pre-process report and recheck. Return to the invoicing menu and then select batch process all invoices. You will get a confirmation that you're about to process 9 invoices and the total amount and what the process date is. If you are happy with this, then click process. This will then open up the invoices menu when you can then filter and action your invoices. When Invoices opens, the filter will be set to show all automatically. What you need to do is to click on Waiting to be imported. This will filter out all other invoices that you have previously dealt with and click Apply. Once you have done this, select all the invoices that you wish to action, and then we can look at the list of actions. If you wish to print the invoices, you could click Print Selected, and this would then print the invoices. In this case, we don't need to print them, we just need to mark them as printed. By selecting this, the action is now complete and they have been marked off as printed. The next thing I wish to do is to export them. Again, I've selected all invoices and clicked Export. You will get a choice to export accounts file and export a transactions file. You will need to do both of these and save as a CSV file. Clicking on the accounts file will then show all new accounts. Save this as a CSV file to a suitable place in your area, because this is what you will need to put into Sage. Again, run the transaction file by clicking on the transaction button. Save as a CSV file to a suitable place in your area, ready to import into Sage. Once you have exported both files, save them to your system and then imported them into Sage, you then need to go into Actions and mark Selected as imported. This means there are now no files waiting to be imported, and when you click Show All, everything that's complete is there. So that means next time you come to run the invoices, it will be empty, ready to receive the next batch of invoices. The filter is a powerful tool to help you manage your invoices. Experiment with the different settings once you have several batches of invoices in the system. As you can see, there is waiting to be imported, which you'll use each time you set a new batch. Or imported will show everything that's already been imported into Sage. Waiting to be printed will be anything that has not got the printed tick within the list. Or printed will be everything with the printed tick. There is also invoices range and account reference you can use to further narrow your choices down. There is also a search by invoice number where you can enter the invoice number into the system and it will find it. What we're now going to look at is creating a manual invoice that has not been generated by the batch process. You can also run a single invoice for a client. To do this, click Insert, select the resident's name, select the resident account, enter an invoice date, invoice period, and the payment type, and save. This will save the basic details for your invoice, and then you need to add some figures. To do this, click on Add Invoice Items, enter the figures, select Save, click on Invoices, apply the filter, and you can then select this invoice and print it.